I don't remember how many years ago I was talking to Reckless at the All-Star tournament, and he said, this guy's going to be the new EU FLICKR. He's going to be the next Bjergsen. And, you know, it's really cool to just see his evolution as a player. And it was obvious that he was really talented from the minute he started playing in EU LCS. So, yeah, it's been cool following his journey, and I'm excited to play against him again.
And I'm excited to watch it happen. Welcome back to Rift Rivals 2019, powered by Alienware for G2 versus TSM. I'm Drake, this is Zale. You know us, so let's jump right into the starting roster.
Why are you assuming that?
I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's frame it that. Maybe you don't. We're Dracos and Zale. Nice to meet you all. Anyway, G2 Esports. Wunder in the top lane, Jankos in the jungle, Caps in the mid lane, bot lane, Perkz, support Mikyx, and their coach Grabs.
And facing them on the red side today, it's going to be TSM. In the top lane, Broken Blade. In the jungle, Grig. Mid laner, Bjergsen. Bot and support will be Zven and Smoothie with Coach Zix.
And Grig coming in. This is something that I'm excited to see because after a disappointing loss to Origin, TSM did opt to continue the jungle watch saga by swapping Grig out, or taking a Katie out, putting Grig in, as I stumble over my words. Talk to me about this one, Zale.
Yeah, I mean, this has been something that has been kind of back and forth throughout the LCS split. Grig, though, you know, he was sitting at 4-0 in the LCS, where Acadian had just picked up his first win this past weekend. We did have a 2-0 weekend for Grig, so people were thinking, okay, TSM has maybe settled on him. Clearly, they haven't thus far. They are still swapping back and forth. But I'm interested to see, will TSM look different? Will they be, you know, more aggressive, more proactive perhaps with Grig? You know, they have utilized some of these hard engaged strategies, playing FLICKR multiple times, you know, with him and looking to kind of be more of a team that is setting the pace of the game rather than sitting back.
And that's something that I always want to see with TSM. You talk about Spring Split and when they were kind of at the best that we've seen them this year, that they were that proactive team. And honestly, when you're going up against G2, I love watching teams fight fire with fire. G2, of course, though, if we look back at their first game, we'll call it maybe a happy game. A little bit.
It was pretty happy.
Maybe. It's always hard to tell with a G2 draft how many of these picks are real. I think we can safely say the Zed bot lane was not the
if
strongest
it was real,
option.
I think it's time to go back into the workshop on that one, because it got basically doubled in farm by Sonateric. But there was definitely some happy picks in there. Some of it may have been real. But either way, G2, you know, probably a little too happy in game number 1 against Team Liquid. I don't think we're going to get as crazy of a draft from them here. They probably will want to have it a little bit more serious, try to, you know, grab a win here against TSM.
And already we see the Sona taken off the board. See what other the options are going to be so far. Very stock standard bans, Sejuani taken off the table, Aurelia as well. So the more standard Metaflex picks limited, Karma too. So this does, so far in the first ban phase, appear to be much more stock standard than their first game.
Yeah, and TSM is going to be red side this time, so they will have the ability, you know, before they go for their last pick to see the entire draft for G2. Doesn't always help you as much as you would expect, simply because they're so flexible with where they can send their picks. You know, this is such a big advantage for G2 because, you know, while in North America we are seeing much more of the solo lane flexing these days, we are still not seeing really any teams flexing their bot laner to mid or bot laner to top and these sorts of things. And that is something that G2 can pull off, which is making it very difficult, I think, for a lot of these North American teams to really get a grasp of what they're trying to do in the draft.
And instantly we're going to see the Pyke first picked here and the Yasuo banned away. Something I like is it does limit some of those flex picks where you can see Perkz going top, where it can go into so many different members' hands. And curious what TSM's response is going to be there. Yuumi taken away. Do we see Zven back on something like Ezreal? Or do we see something new like Katarina? That's obviously not going to get picked here because it's a Jarvan.
Yeah, the blind Katarina.
The blind Katarina.
Pretty good to me. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? You're not sure where is this going. Is this top lane? Is this mid lane? Is this going to be, you know, some weird funnel situation we've seen them do before? You know, is this just support, right? There's so many different things that you have to consider, and that is why it's difficult to draft, because now you're not just considering, okay, what's a good bot lane matchup into this? You know, we've seen top lane Pyke used as a counter to Jace. What if you wanted to pick Jace here? Now you're a little bit nervous about that, right? So there's so many things that has to go kind of through the head of TSM and in Zix in particular to be able to really craft what is the best possible draft. And that is why I think we're seeing two pretty kind of generic safe picks right here with the Jarvan as well as the Lux support. Lux obviously can be flexed to mid lane, and Lux in North America is actually seen as a counter to Zoe, so this feels like a little bit of a throwing down of the gauntlet here, seeing the Zoe pick into the Lux, because that Lux could go to Bjergsen and we could see him playing that matchup. He's the first guy to actually bring that out in North America last split, I believe, in playoffs.
Yeah, and watching that come to fruition, seeing how good that pick can be in that specific matchup, does have me wondering. Caps has never won to turn down a challenge, but does get me honestly a little nervous.
Maybe it's not Zoe mid, maybe it's going bot, who knows?
Where else can they put it? We're going to find out. And I think this, you talk about it, this is the difficulty of drafting against G2 Esports. All the teams in the LEC have to deal with it. Teams in the LCS now do too. And I think these standard picks you're talking about, now we have the Sivir Lux, most likely, I think, going into the bottom lane when you pair those two together. But definitely, I think we only see TSM start to commit to anything really solidly in those last two picks.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, that is why you basically just have to try to draft something that is an all-around solid composition that you are comfortable playing, right? Because you're never going to know exactly what G2 wants to do until, you know, they are on the Rift and they're showing you. So I do think that going with relatively well-rounded picks such as this is pretty powerful. The Lux could be going mid lane to answer the Zoe if they do so elect to do that. But Lux plus Sivir, very strong standard bottom lane, you know, used in the LCS a lot these days. Sivir has raised so much in priority with some of the kind of crit changes. You know, seeing a lot of the Essence Reaver rush on Sivir, really strong team fighter, pairs well also with the J4 who is looking for that engage and, you know, opens up for the ability to grab things, you know, like an Aatrox or more of those melee style champions, which are also really going to benefit from the Sivir ult.
Just in general, an incredibly powerful champion, now securing a safer bot lane by banning away the Draven, limiting some of the picks that can potentially bully it out, fight through some of that wave clear. Akali as well taken off the board, a pick that we really didn't see for the longest time in the LEC. The first 2 weeks, it just did not exist. Obviously, it's been a big staple of the LCS since your season started, and now, additionally, the Twisted Fate taken away, something that has only recently been popping up for us in Europe.
Yeah, but certainly I think it is one of the most popular mid laners these days. Again, TSM clearly not sure that Zoe is going mid lane, so banning away the TF. We haven't been seeing TF played in other lanes in competitive, really. So they are just, you know, kind of doing that as an insurance policy. ADTF as well as APTF, which has been played a fair bit by Crown in the LCS, as we're getting, I think, a bit of a style hover here, making fun of the earlier Zed bot from G2. But Neeko, I think would make some sense. Again, this is a pick that can go to, you know, both top or bot. You now have Lux that could be going support or mid. So TSM is answering with some of their own flex picks here as well. And also, you know, none of these are really kind of like super situational. There's a lot of different kind of ways that you can play it out to make it kind of fit depending on the matchup.
I like the Perkz is hovering, the signature Sven, Ezreal, the Skarner as well. I feel like there's a lot of subtle communication going on here in the hovers from both sides. Bard now locked in. All right, short of something truly insane, I'm pretty sure we can commit that to the support position.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that this is going to be Bard support. You know, that then means you're thinking that the Pyke is likely going to be in the solo lanes, the Olaf in the jungle. Bard plus Ezreal looking to be considered here, but this could also just be, you know, kind of some fun hovering, so we'll have to wait until they do lock it in. So Bard, Lucian bot lane, very aggressive bot lane. You're looking at probably Pyke top, Zoe mid, Olaf in the jungle is what we are going to assume here. This is a team that can really roam around the map and get very aggressive with that. We already know Pyke has most of its success outside of lane, you know, through that roaming, through that aggressive play. Bard is someone who can, you know, join up very easily and kind of facilitate that sort of aggressive strategy.
Okay. The Camille now locked in.
So the Camille is used as a counterpick to Pyke top in NA, has been used as that. One of the most powerful things about Pyke's solo lane is you're actually absorbing all this poke, you're having all this trade, and then you run away and you heal back up. The Camille doesn't allow you to do that. You just get hit by the ultimatum and you are stuck in that ultimate. You cannot escape, you cannot heal back up, and they are going to try to burst you down. We'll see if Wunder will take Aftershock, you know, to try to alleviate some of that pressure to help him survive through that ultimatum, but that is certainly going to be the strategy here for TSM. You know, lock down these members, utilize AoE ultimates in the team fight, and try to burst down these players. Because if Pyke goes in, you have the Cataclysm, you have the ultimatum, the Neeko ultimate overlapping over top of that. There's so much damage coming through, and a last-minute swap.
Now we have a problem. We heard it. I didn't want to believe it. Grabs was talking to us about it. Said the fifth and final member of G2 will play Pyke today. I did not believe it until the 20-second swap, so now we have a change-up. Now we have a Zoe Bard bottom lane. I think the composition fundamentally remains the same. However, the laning phase is now vastly different.
And we'll have to see, you know, what lanes are they actually even being played in? So it is Pyke, actually Pyke jungle. I wasn't sure if he was just going to play Pyke solo lane and have Jankos solo laning. So he is actually Pyke jungle.
Okay.
We have Ignite on Caps. So Caps, I don't think you're playing double Ignite bot lane. So Caps is very likely actually playing the Lucian mid with the Ignite. And the lane assignments should be Perkz and Mikyx playing the Bard Zoe bot lane. Caps on the Lucian mid. Jankos is playing Predator Pyke jungle. So I can speak a little bit about Pyke jungle. This is something that was actually pretty popular among some of the NA pros last year for a brief moment, mostly just in solo queue, never actually came to the stage, but people kind of talked about it as essentially, it was explained to me as this. You take both the buffs and then you gank and pray it works. And if it works, you can snowball. Because Pyke's farming is not very good until you get a Tiamat, and you really do kind of need that if you want to try to go into any sort of normal game.
You thought Camille jungle was extreme. No, Pyke is the next level of that. You literally cannot
Level
jungle.
1 portal.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen,
I like it.
You thought we're playing League of Legends, we're playing Mission Impossible.
This could actually work. Grig is going over to the red buff. They have both the entrances warding. Grig is going to face check this.
He sees it all. Oh, he gets out!
All right, I respect the effort here from G2. That is a level 1 portal from Bard to hard commit to the invade. And that almost got them a first blood, but now it is going to be Mikyx starting with essentially no skill in lane, in that bot lane. So, you know, Zven and Smoothie should have an easier time as a result.
And normally Bard level 1 is probably his most oppressive level in the game between the empowered knee auto attack, the instant electrocute proc when you do have the cosmic binding as well. So bit unfortunate, but yeah, I don't think they really expected to be hard winning the bot lane with the, I'm going to say, complete and utter lack of wave clear that those two champions have.
I mean, who's to say? It's G2, it's G2 after all, right?
But now they're getting the lane faster. It's big brain. That, nope. Okay.
All right, so we do have a Jarvan. He has red buff. He's actually heading towards the top lane. So looking for this level 2 gank. This is not warded out at all. So Wunder definitely could be in trouble here. We'll see, did Broken Blade start hook shot? He may have. They are kind of just waiting right now. They want Wunder to walk up, and now they're going to go.
Wunder flashing the EQ. Well played just to make it out. But good first gank by Grig. Already taking the summoner away.
Yeah, not too bad at all. You can also see Broken Blade is actually going Grasp here. So he wants to be able to have a little bit more of that defensive setup, and big trade onto Mikyx. You know, Wunder playing this Olaf in the early game. We actually, funny enough, got to see it in the show match yesterday from Dyrus. But Olaf does have an incredibly strong 1v1. You know, his scaling isn't as strong, but if he does get ahead, he can continue to just kind of run you down and certainly win out in those long extended fights. So Broken Blade is just going to be looking for quick stuns and in and out, proc the grasp, get out of there. You don't want to fight him long term.
Absolutely do not. But you see Jankos now hovering around the top side. A repeat
Grig's
gank
back
from
too.
Grig.
Oh, this could actually be really good for G2. I think, you know, if they go in not expecting Jankos to be here, Wunder's level 3. He's going to be really strong here.
Hook shot.
What?
Well,
I hate to see that.
All right, well, that happened. Definitely diffused a little bit of the tension. Jankos, as noted before, has only cleared 2 camps, but Grig's spending so much time on the top side that it's actually evened out.
I mean, it's a strategy. I told you. You get your buff and you go gank and you pray it works. This is Pyke jungle in a nutshell here. But they are going to be looking to try to pull off this dive. He's looking for the Q. Will he flash? No.
All right, so far he's done a lot of praying and 2 camps. Not a lot of ganking.
No.
Scared him. You look at Broken Blade, shaking in his boots after that casual walk by a hook attempt, but we'll see how things are going on the rest of the map. Mid lane slightly in favor of Bjergsen, has a lot more initial wave clear here in the early game, and Jankos doing what he can to take Scuttles. That is the nice thing, at least. Scuttle's not going to hit you back, so Pyke won't hurt too much. And, oh, this bot lane is just going to be tough in the early levels.
Pyke can definitely do, you know, some of these camps, you know, the kind of solo target camps are easier to take. The AoE camps you're going to take so much damage doing, and clear speed is very, very low until you can get that Tiamat. So we'll see how he navigates that. Predator, certainly not the most common of the rune choices for the Pyke, but it will give him like a more powerful entrance into the fights. You can use your W alongside Predator to try to pull off lane ganks and things along those lines. Can be pretty strong, and here again you'll see Broken Blade looking for the initial grass proc trade, you know, utilizing his passive physical damage shield, and then backing off because the extended trades are going to get worse and worse against Olaf, and you can see Jankos is back up to the top lane. Here he comes again.
Forward, Broken Blade has to be careful, gets a little bit of healing down, is going to be forced to flash out. The hook does connect. Broken Blade now in trouble. Where's the hook shot wall dive? Has it already been used? Broken Blade now running for his life. Conqueror procced, but not healthy enough to force the dive there.
Yeah, but that is teleport down for Broken Blade, so the repeat gank from Jankos, you know, certainly going to help Wunder out a lot, and if you can put Wunder enough ahead, that is going to get rough because this could even be a turret plate going down for Wunder. I think he may actually just decide to take the time to reset instead, but now is going to go back and elect to try to get a turret plate. On the bottom side, though, TSM is pushing in, certainly has a pretty nice advantage, and Grig sees Mikyx here.
He's gonna go flash forward. The binding does manage to connect with the barriers there. Smoothie now running for his life, the shield rather, and now first blood flash down the stolen summoner. That's gonna be a sleepy Sivir. Is locked up for a brief moment. Good damage, and G2 just outplay.
In the 2v3, Mikyx is flashing in, and now Jankos has arrived.
Way in, Predator Pyke. Could it be more fitting summoner? I think not. Gonna get him. Zven now walking it out, but it's not enough in the end. Level 4 comes through for Jankos, Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and a flash out to safety from Grig.
Yep, Jankos hasn't done a lot of farming, but he has done a lot of ganking, and thus far working out for G2 here as they completely outplay TSM in that 2v3, utilizing the stolen flash for Perkz to be able to go in, get the kill, and then get out alive.
And when you see Grig coming in like that, when we take a look back at this one, this looked like death for Mikyx.
Yeah, I love that Mickey, though, is flashing in to go aggressive. He's not trying to run away here. He's saying, all right, we'll just kill him 2v3. Gets the binding, puts down the ignite on Smoothie, then takes the portal out. Perkz going in to finish that off, grabbing the flash to retreat, and then Jankos has arrived. Predator popped in that deep water dive, going very quickly. No spell shield available for Zven, no flash available for him. It's an easy chase down to get that additional kill.
So obnoxious. Pyke with the freedom to roam through the river. Incredibly difficult to deal with. And now that he's gotten that kill, he's at least starting to snowball a little bit. Will not really ever, unless he gets a Tiamat here early, be fantastic at clearing the camps, but obviously only gets to be a bigger and bigger threat in the individual matchups.
Yeah, and it doesn't really need to be power farming if his lanes are doing well and if he can enable them. Certainly Grig, isn't that much ahead as far as the farm goes. Grig has been spending time trying to gank too. He went for a level 2 gank. He has not been power farming. It's not like this is a Sejuani who's now up 2 levels and and farming up. So it's not that big of a deal. And on the bottom side,
Zven, you can't spell shield everything. There's just too many spells coming at him.
Yeah, that is really threatening. You can see the damage ramping up, but they have found Jankos.
Shot. Broken Blade goes over. Does not see him. Just the edge of vision there, but Jankos will manage to make it out to safety. Good use of the top lane pressure to get a gank there in the jungle.
Oh, Zven could be going down here.
Where's the spell shield going to go? What's he going to be able to block? Nothing is the answer. Mickey grabbing the kill. Perkz going in for a little bit more.
Yeah, they had the farm advantage, but off the back of that first blood now, G2's bottom lane really starting to take over, ramping up the pressure onto Zven here, and you can see Zven very, very low. They actually hit the Drowsy onto Smoothie, and they just decide to go in for Zven. He uses the spell shield to block that Paddle Star, and then just gets straight up run down as Mickey walks in, uses the Meep slow. Really well played here by this G2 bottom lane, and Zven getting abused pretty hard. They're going to lose their turret plate already, losing a lot of farm here as well. So now, not even going to be having that CS advantage. We'll be very far behind.
Yeah, incredibly difficult now to match anything here. A little bit more wave clear available for the Zoe now that she has the Lost Chapter under her belt. Chilling Smite will come out just on the retreat here, but it's been a long time since we've seen Perkz play the Zoe bot lane. Obviously, his first game in this roster up against Origin when they were playing Zoe, Karthus, Jace kind of poke comp. A different look this time around, but still a good pick overall. Now we see that all in you were talking about. Olaf trying to keep the fight extending. Broken Blade, though, not going to go back in. Grig, however, moving forward, looking for a little bit more, but Jankos on the way in. Smoothie, Aftershock is proc. They don't quite want to commit to the fight quite yet, and Jankos only level 5, so no execute available.
Yeah, not going to be able to take down Smoothie just yet, and should be able to delay that base. He's going to wait it out, but Jankos is basing on a ward, so that will be stopped. Smoothie, though, does survive and holds on to his heal, which is pretty important, as Mickey did blow the ignite there. So the next all-in certainly will be more difficult, but Jankos just going to take this time to now go into potentially a little bit of deep warding there, as he did know Jarvan was on that top side, did show to try to potentially defend Broken Blade if Wunder were to go aggressive.
Yeah, and a bit more safety now, and Jankos with the Tiamat completed as well, so can at least start to clear out some of those multi-target camps. Obviously still going to take a lot of damage in the process, but much more comfortable than he would have been in those first few levels. That kill really starting to pay dividends here, has enough income to pick up that item.
Yeah, exactly. And he spent most of the early game just power kind of ganking and pressuring the lanes nonstop. Now that he has the Tiamat, he can go back to farming, right? You can clear some of these camps out. You can see he's going to be able to deal with Wraiths, Wolves, Krugs all a lot more easily. and then just try to continue, rinse, repeat, looking for those ganks. Certainly not something you want to sit back on. You want to be playing it aggressive. You want to be in the face of your opponent. And now that he has level 6, there's certainly a much higher potential of going to one of these lanes and showing up and just being able to delete someone, because the initial burst from someone like a Bard and a Zoe can get one of these players down to execute range, and then you're just gone if Pyke can come in.
So much damage. Now Spell Shield is immediately forced out. The ulti's there, but the stun is going to connect.
Oh!
Whoa, couldn't even see him coming. Portal jumps in, lands that. Battlestar just too...
That was so sick, but Grig has arrived. I don't know if you want this one. Grig could be in trouble now, has no flash.
I would have thought the Bard would not win this, but is so incredibly confident. Sleepy though, Perkz needs to be careful, needs to make it out. The challenging smite has been laid down, cannot portal through, but doesn't even need it. Will now be able to make it out as the Cataclysm drops, but G2 just continue to outmaneuver in these skirmishes, and now Broken Blade is the one in trouble. Unstoppable is the Olaf trying to make it out to safety. Caps not going to take tower aggro quite yet, but will pulled back, but just instantly taken down. Broken Blade drops.
Yeah, Broken Blade playing that about as well as he could, but it's TSM getting 2v3'd on the bottom side. Zven is going to die again.
Battlestar, the flash out to safety. This is merciless from G2.
Yeah, they're getting blasted, and Perkz is sitting on 2,300 gold. He has not faced in so long. He's going to come back with a full Ludens, plus even more. They'll get another plate before they leave.
Mikyx going to take the portal out to safety, but things are starting to go from bad to worse. Obviously, massive gold lead. Stolen flash there. Perkz, of course, has his own still up and available. I see trouble, but will not connect, and really have to be a little bit nervous for the TSM bot lane. Things have already been going bad, but the Ludens isn't even here yet, and things are only going to get harder as more items are picked up.
Yeah, it's definitely looking pretty rough for TSM thus far. Kind of the lone bright spot. Bjergsen's laning has been going fine. He has not gone down, but the bot lane certainly has been so problematic for TSM. Multiple times now they've been 2v3'd by Perkz and Mikyx, who are just playing this out so incredibly well. The synergy between these two guys is honestly astounding, and their target selection has been so good. Forcing Spell Shield from Zven, then the flash binding on a Smoothie, with the Battlestar already coming through. Like, they are really communicating and working so incredibly well together. And they're showing TSM how it's done thus far, but Broken Blade, Grig pairing up on this top side, and Camille certainly does scale well. So there is the possibility of a Broken Blade being able to run a side lane later on in the game if he can, really scale up, get to that Triforce. It's going to be tough for G2 to try to contest him in a 1v1 in the side lane later in the game.
Absolutely will be the case. For now, though, I like this. TSM swapping to the top side, knowing that bot lane is a death trap with Perkz down there, and the Ludens completed instead are going to set their sights on the map objective. Look to grab the Herald. Bjerg is going to be forced to back off. Jankos stepping forward, has a good bit of damage, but don't think he can just straight up solo kill Neeko at this stage.
No, definitely not with Bjergsen having ult and flash and everything available there. But going to be able to grab that Rift Herald up to the top lane.
Now locked in, the Lux damage coming in, goes golden. No, isn't disabled. Mikyx lands the bind. No, does not land the binding. Wunder will now fall. Broken Blade going to step forward. Wunder desperate to find up a kill back, but will not get it. Good play from TSM on the top side, but Mikyx is unafraid. Grig's starting to burn. Jankos. Is he going to be able to grab it? Where's the ulti? The Predator is there as well. Pulling back, will not go for anything else. Perkz uncontested on the bot side, will be able to grab this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, a lot more gold into the pockets of Perkz there. He gets that solo first tower gold back up to 1,500 already. Really extending that individual lead. But TSM make a good proactive play to that top side. Lanes up top. They are certainly struggling in that 2v2. So getting out of the lane, being able to knock down a turret plate on the top side and get Broken Blade a little bit of help up there, I think does make a lot of sense. So nice seeing TSM be able to make that happen.
And closer now to that Trinity Force that you mentioned earlier, but that is going to connect. Incredibly difficult. They will be able to spot it out. The particles are there.
Stopwatch.
Perkz buys a bit of time. Caps is going to push for a little bit more. There's going to be the shield coming in. Jankos comes through. Kill will go over to Caps in the end. The gold not going to be donated.
Yeah, 3-man collapse onto Bjergsen. Played it pretty well in the defensive, but TSM, you're not able to match this movement that G2 is showing across the map. Would have been able to survive from Perkz and Caps, but then Jankos is coming in from the other side, so just no way out for Bjergsen there. Is going to get knocked down, and now it is
a lot of damage. Perkz in trouble, but the stun made it to connect. Now they're trying to turn it. Caps is going in. Both locked up into the tower. Mikyx now fishing for the kill. Grig coming in to try to save the day, but it's not enough. Bard going to grab it in the end. Perkz does so much damage, taking out half of Grig's health bar. Perkz, I think I'm trying to follow up on that. Perkz is going to be able to walk away, but maybe a little too confident there in the mid lane.
Yeah, the stolen Zonias, but in the meantime, losing the top lane there is TSM. This gold lead now 5K at 14 minutes. Broken Blade will be able to grab some turret gold for himself here on the bottom side, so certainly a positive there for them. But meanwhile, they're losing the mid-outer. All 3 turrets down before 15 minutes here for TSM. So the outer ring has been cracked, and here is this play one more time, looking for Perkz, but a nice binding for Mikyx. He has been so on point with this. Zven intelligently stepping back into the Bard ult. They try to time the redemption as well. Is not going to be there to save him, though. Mikyx able to take him down and walk out, and now Mikyx fishing over the wall.
Luckily for Zven, Perkz out of mana, will be forced to back off soon. No corrupting potion stacks either. But when we talked about this G2 composition, yes, it's not going to be stronger in team fights, but the ability to find these picks so consistently across the map is incredibly strong for them. And with all the tier 1s down, it's only going to get easier.
Yeah, and honestly, with this sort of gold lead, it is going to be stronger in team fights. It's actually just stronger at everything, right? Like, you can be doing whatever you want to do when you're able to create these sorts of leads and these sorts of advantages, and when you're able to play it out so cleanly like G2 is, and Zven likely going to go down again.
Smoothie being walked down, the binding will connect. The Pyke execute is there. Wunder now stepping forward. They may just try to continue the play. Looking for the bone skewer. Grig can't be too comfortable here. Hook is going to come in, but will not connect, so Grig will be able to walk away, but G2 just finding yet another pick.
Yep, they get the kill. They'll take the blue buff, grab the scuttle crab at the same time. They can even grab the dragon. They have full run of the map right now. The G2 definitely running over TSM in this one. We'll fall back to that dragon, grab that away, and meanwhile, as strong as Perkz is looking, he's sitting on a 3,100 plus gold, right? Like, again, he's just not based in so long. He's just going to go back and buy another full item, right? So now he's insanely stronger. You don't even really have the opportunity to try to actually dive onto him. He grabs his Zonies initially and then says, no, I want more damage, grabbing the Morelos instead. And he is sitting kind of this far ahead of the pace. You're really at lethal range, kind of one combo any of these players on TSM, right? This isn't even a tank Jarvan. A full combo from Zoe should be 100-0 on any of these guys. And
you have to remember that the Lux is entirely dependent on that aftershock to not get one shot at this stage of the game. And if you cannot connect that binding, you are just gonna get deleted over and over again.
I mean, even if you do connect the binding, sleep lasts longer than aftershock. It'll just expire and then you'll die. So G2 looking here on the bottom side for Broken Blade.
Oh, they have walked at the Jankos, but he will just leap right out. Grig in the midst of the team trying to buy a bit of time. Broken Blade debating if they want to keep this fight going. Golden Rift Herald here is Bjergsen gonna try to find the ball. Mikyx is locked up. The laser is there, and TSM find the turn.
TSM striking back, and they have the Rift Herald here, so they can try to push for a second turret here on the bottom side. TSM battling back, trying to get back into this game, get some gold on their side. Perkz is split pushing, meanwhile, on that top lane. Gonna be able to try to knock down a turret of his own. You can see Broken Blade heading up there, trying to defend this. But TSM, still trying to look for those plays. We're able to respond very effectively with multiple teleports coming in to help out Broken Blade and get a couple kills back.
And a good look overall. Good play to start to swing things, at least starting to edge back into their favor. Of course, still a big gold deficit, 5K, 18 minutes into the game, but more plays like that, things could shift in favor of TSM.
Certainly, and that's something that G2 always is going to have to be careful about, because while they can play pretty fast and loose with a really big gold lead, if you do allow TSM to stabilize, if they can get to this point where Sivir has a lot of items and you're having these kind of more organized team fights, certainly TSM will have the compositional advantage. So anytime TSM can even trade gold evenly, they're going to be feeling pretty good about that, as later into the game, the less that a couple thousand gold lead will mean. But G2 certainly still fully in the driver's seat. Baron hasn't even spawned, so we're very early into the game, but they're already looking to kind of set up vision on this side of the map, and as a result, we may be seeing Grig get picked off.
A lot of initial damage coming in there. Jankos going to not be able to find the hook over the wall. Bone Skewer. Caps now chasing down. Coling coming in, willing to walk under the tower just to secure it, and Caps now on a killing spree. Oh no, Broken Blade has to run for his life. Tiamat, where's the hook gonna go? Broken Blade cannot sidestep that one. Will hookshot wall dive over the wall. Immediate tunnel to follow. Will not find the binding, however, Cap's trying to chase it down. Broken Blade is just gonna realize his own death. Will turn around, but not gonna be able to grab anything. Jankos will not get the additional gold on the ulti.
Yeah, no getting out of that one. Bart's so good at actually chasing down these opposing members, and even with just 1 point in that magical journey, it's not even going to take a second one, so the CDR doesn't matter. And you can see that damage on his Zven. That's without a sleep landing. Zven just getting almost popped there.
Going in. Oh, Bjergsen also almost getting popped there. This is terrifying.
Back to base with you.
Perkz luckily has burned through almost his entire mana pool, so TSM may get a brief reprieve here, but Caps in the meantime has taken down the tier 2 top lane tower.
Yeah, and I mean that 5,000-6,000 gold lead now closing in on 8,000. You know, G2 is just extending this so ridiculously fast. They're never really giving TSM a chance to breathe. They're now going to lose their mid tier 2. Now up over 8,000 gold is the lead before Baron is even spawning. Some of these individual advantages pretty insane over on the side of G2. You know, you're looking towards that bottom lane, nearly 2,000 gold ahead for both the support and the AD is just ridiculous.
Yeah, insane. And you can see it coming through the Mikyx as well, so it's only going to get harder to lock down an already incredibly slippery Zoe. And the Pyke, yes, he's in the jungle. Yes, he didn't get quite as many resources early on, but now with those kills under his belt, he's working towards that full lethality item. Warrior, of course, incredibly cost efficient, and he's only getting scarier and scarier. And with all the upfront damage, you have to imagine it's going to be reset city for Pyke if G2 get to play the game the way they want to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we saw what they are capable of actually doing, and good flash, but a nice ultimate forces that out from Mikyx. So, you know, we saw how much poke Perkz is capable of doing. You know, that one poke plus a Pyke ult could just be someone dead.
All eyes on Perkz. They're trying to take him out. He's flashing out to safety. Grig goes over the wall, though. Definitely not what he wanted. Caps now on a rampage. Mikyx, of course, no ultimate to turn this one back. Jankos, is he going to try to fish for the hook here?
Yeah, they have the TP actually coming from Olaf. He is going to TP behind. They want this.
Yep, Wunder going to walk to the midst of 4 people. An unstoppable Olaf barreling down on top of Bjergsen. Buys a bit of time with the stopwatch. Will not find the lockup, but a good bit of damage. Perkz going forward. Sleepy Trouble Bubble will not connect. The pullback will not either. Good spell shield by Zven, buying a bit of time, but the stolen flash carrying Perkz forward. The binding not landing either, but it's just a poke nightmare for the side of TSM.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they can defend their inhibitor tower. You know, we're barely past 20 minutes, and TSM being pushed back to the well. The inhibitor tower will fall here. G2 gets another one, 6 towers to the 2 from TSM. Now 9,000 gold ahead. It just doesn't stop. They never are giving TSM room to breathe, room to set up around the map. And you know, it's because of this non-stop aggressive play that G2 are such a strong team. Broken Blade now going to get found out by Caps, has to run.
Wants to chase down, but a good stun by Broken Blade to turn back. Would have just died immediately, but no, now, cannot quite turn it. Mikyx is there with the heal to stop anything from going down.
Yeah, and those 2 completed items from Caps. He had the Ignite available, so feeling very confident to take that. And again, G2 is just doing everything at once. While they're killing the solo laner, they're also taking the dragon. They're also looking to reset in such a strong position now. G2 certainly have a lot of options on how they want to close out the game. Baron certainly would be one of them with the double mountain. They are in a great position to be able to actually knock that down. They also, though, could just push towards the open inhibitor here from TSM and look to get a, you know, kind of a global advantage from knocking that down before they head over to anything like the Baron. G2 certainly has, you know, every option available to them at this point.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned, just an incredibly comfortable spot. Have the luxury, have so many more resources, can make multiple plays on the map at the same time successfully without risking a whole lot. TSM, though, get a chance to reset, and you can see how defensive they're playing, backing off, not looking to push in for any vision, and when you see a Sleepy Trouble fly from halfway across the map, you can understand why.
Yeah, and I mean, if we could actually swap back over to the gold, I feel like this illustrates it pretty clearly for you there. When the support Bard has, you know, 500 gold lead on your top laner, things are looking grim, so... You know, Mikyx certainly looking strong in this one, has been playing a monstrous game on the Bard. You know, and multiple items already completed at this point in the game. They are looking again.
Predator coming out, big movement speed. Spell shield. Gonna catch anything here in the end. Now the ult being thrown out. Smoothie has been caught.
Here comes Scavs.
Follow-up damage going to be. We're gonna pursue any further. Do force the flash out from Smoothie, however, now incredibly vulnerable if they want to go in again.
And I think they're just going to give up the inhibitor. They have a Broken Blade pushing. There's no reason to even try to defend this. You don't really have any chance of doing so. So they're trying to play, you know, more of a scrappy style of game, trying to hope that G2 may overextend in one area or that they can stop bases. But Grig gonna get dunked.
Caught out by the death from below on the back half there. A lot of damage goes down onto Jankos, but will just heal right back up. Meanwhile, inhibitor definitely in jeopardy, but now a double kill in the mid lane. G2 may just try to push here, but it could be a trade.
I mean, if it's a trade, that's great, but if G2 end the game, you don't get to trade for the Nexus afterwards.
Oh, but eyes on the minions. They do manage to kill the creep wave here. Good call by TSM. It's going to be hard for G2 to finish. They now need to back off. Bjergsen, though, stepping forward. A lot of damage is going to come in. A good binding on a Mikyx. Now going to be in trouble. Mikyx himself out to safety. Wunder now running first over the wall. Huge damage coming in, and just like that, G2 turn the play on its head. And they're going to end the game. Both the blade now TPing back, desperate to try to save something, but the sheer amount of damage here, if he's the first person to face check in, G2 eyes on the Nexus right here. The Bard gonna stop the Jarvan in his tracks. They'll kill Mikyx, but the game goes to G2.
Absolute decimation here from G2, making it look easy against TSM. 24 minutes, 29 seconds, they close it out with an 11,000 plus gold lead.
Wow. Yeah.
I've got to give so much credit, I think, to Mikyx. He played this game so insanely well on the Bard. Really strong facilitator for caps down on that bottom side. And G2's bottom lane were such game changers in this one, being able to pull off multiple 2v3s against TSM's bot lane and jungle. And when your team is losing, in those advantageous positions, it's very, very hard to be able to kind of sustain yourself in a game like this, because G2 is going to punish you elsewhere on the map where they are going to have the numbers advantage.
Absolutely. And I just have to echo, I mean, it was a beautiful thing to watch. That's one of those games where you go back and watch the pro view to see how much are they actually talking, how much is this communication, how much is this just something that they've played and practiced before, the Amumu. A nice touch, I think, safe to say, but brutal game for TSM. Bard starts with the portal, level 1 looks good. Every level after that looks rough, looks incredibly
We were even
difficult.
at level 1.
Level 1, when he took the
close.
less than ideal ability, things were going okay, some favorable trades, but
Yeah.
and we've all been there. When the Zoe gets fed, you look across the map, and when no one else on your team is fed, it's pretty over. But let's send it over to Avli, who is standing by for an interview with a top 5 Pyke player from G2.
Not bad.
Top 5. Congratulations on the win, Jankos. I mean, the question going into this game wasn't, are you going to beat TSM? It was, will your Pyke be better than Ocelot's? So how do you think you did?
Well, I do believe that my Pyke was pretty better. I mean, much better than Ocelot. And since Ocelot played it yesterday, I think I had to play it at that point. I mean, our owner played it, and everyone from my team plays it. So I guess first time with it.
And I think coming up on our analyst desk, they're going to be ranking the top Pykes on your team. So what do you think the rankings are?
Well, I should be the first one. And then probably Wunder and Mikyx and Caps and Perkz. Yeah.
Great, I like that. Well, thank you again, and congratulations. Analyst desk, do you agree with his rankings?
Thank you very much, Avli. Jankos' Pyke was impressive. Perhaps more impressive was him bringing his own mic to the interview. Kind of pulling that out of nowhere. I love that move. We will discuss some of the G2 Pykes in just a minute. Before we do, I do want to briefly talk about the game itself. This game entirely dictated by the dominance in the bot lane from G2 here. We had the Bard and the Neeko just putting it to Zven and Smoothie.
Another creative bot lane comes out from G2 and they make it work. Perkz was adamant that he wasn't going to play any AD carries this tournament. So far, he's 3 for 3, and he had a very impressive performance alongside Mikyx. The binding setup combined with the utility provided with Perkz' E, then followed up with the damage of the 2. It was a surprisingly effective duo.
Perkz was literally running circles around the TSM bottom lane. Absolutely, they destroyed them in 2v3 scenarios. And then it's easy for Jankos to come in and clean up the extra ones for them. As you can see, goes down there on Pyke.
Expert Pyke play, making a cameo in the bot lane.
But this was one of those situations where all the casters were talking about it. What do you spell shield here? There are just too many abilities that you have to dodge. And sure, you get away from this one, but can you block out from the Bard Q? No, you can't.
No, and with a lead, we know how oppressive Bard can be in the bot lane just through auto attacks alone, laying down some damage with a little bit of AP in the build.
And I really we talked about it a bit earlier in the day, but Mikyx has been such an insane support. And this time around, Perkz back on another mage, the Zoe, just made it look so incredibly good. The bottom lane blowing up that big meant that this game was fairly easy for G2 to run over.
Yeah, so no surprises with that advantage. They're able to pick up the win, which brings us to the real discussion of the postgame. Best G2 Pyke player. Everyone's touched the champion now, so we actually have some statistics and anecdotal experience to make these claims. Vidius, as you are the representative from the LEC, I'll let you kick us off. Let's talk through the different G2 Pykes.
So, I'm curious as to which one we're starting with because I don't know what the graphic is going to show. I'm going to assume that Wunder will have the most Pyke games out of anyone because he's usually
Wunder
the
does
one
have the
that
most
we
Pyke
see
games
in
on
the
the
top
team.
lane. So many fans would think that Wunder would be one of the primary candidates. He brought it out not only at MSI, but against some of the top teams in the world, and he did it up against SKT as well. You can see he's currently undefeated on the champion, but the problem with Wunder's Pyke is that he plays very much for himself rather than for the team.
What's the problem with that?
Well,
if it nets you 100%
the big
victory.
discussion is how much value do you put on that, right?
I put a lot of value on 3-0.
I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
That's absolutely fine. Because then you've got the other Pyke player, Mikyx, who, in my opinion, is the OG Pyke player who brought it into the G2 world.
Right.
And I feel that you notice how he's got a higher KDA,
Yes.
contributes more towards his team.
Yes.
And his damage is slightly lower because he's not stealing all the kills.
But
So
isn't
he's
that
having-
Pyke's job?
He's having a higher impact without taking away from the rest of the team.
Some weird arguments you make.
Yeah, really weird argument.
Weird
You
argument.
put it the KDA, then you're like, he's done stealing all the kills.
I'm so confused by that. Okay, but you did. You had the 3-0, the 1-1. I'll give credit to Mikyx for maybe bringing the Pyke pick to G2.
But my argument was too weak for Mikyx, right?
I'm going to go ahead and say Wunder, in my book, still reigns supreme in that regard. But let's take a look at the next two players, Caps and Perkz.
So I actually watch a lot of Cap's stream because he is a hilarious streamer, and seeing his solo queue Pyke is insane to me. So whenever people ask this question, my answer was always Caps because how much he plays in solo queue and how great he makes it look. But we saw on stage as well, Jankos has faith in Perkz, even though both these players have only played it on stage one time. These two can definitely pilot the champion. If you're talking about KDAs, Vedia.
Yeah, I know, right?
Boom,
I didn't check the other stats, right? I'm talking about KDAs.
Yeah, with the kill participation in that KDA, Perkz would take the cake.
He would.
Interesting to see the damage percentage differences for each of the Pykes. I guess to me that speaks to the variance of executions, right? Because ultimately Pyke doesn't need to deal high percentages of damage to be effective, right? He just needs to bring you from 20% to 0.
Yeah, I mean, and he can share gold for stealing the kills or
Exactly.
getting the kills, whatever you're talking about, Vedia. So that's why the argument to me was seemed ridiculous. His ultimate literally shares kills.
But who could forget the final two Pykes on G2 and the two most recently played? Jankos sporting that 1-0 record. But even in the face of that 0-1 from Ocelot, I think he's got to be a part of the discussion.
So I gotta say, it's not Ocelot's fault that he has 0.86 KDA. He was playing against an expert Sejuani
That's true.
was hitting him with full range blind Sejuani ultimates over and over. So tough break there.
Well,
you
my
know.
favorite stat about Ocelot is the amount of Pyke deaths that he has is greater than the cumulative team deaths that G2 in their entirety have.
Oh, no.
So it's a bit of a rough situation for Carlos to be in. But he also, as you said, does not have the same team environment that the likes of Jankos would have. So I have to say that you guys tore me apart on my Mikyx argument. He's gone. He's not in the conversation anymore. I've removed him now. I was wrong.
So who gets it?
I am personally going to... I'm bought into... Kobe's argument on Caps.
Okay.
Like, the way I've heard him talk a lot about the Pyke, I think is very impressive. And as a Pyke mid expert myself, I know how challenging it is to play the champion in that role and to have those impressive stats in a honestly superior and a much more challenging situation, I think is the most
I
impressive.
think Vedia's just disavowed Nocturne.
I would still say, though, by the way, analyzing the actual Pyke play, Hillisang threw the most prediction cues.
You don't have to talk about Fnatic, Pyke. We all know Hillisang is the best. All these G2 fans are like, no! What are you talking about?
G2 Pyke tier list.
Yeah.
Maybe? All right, anyway, game 4 is coming up next. We've got Team Liquid versus Origin, so don't touch that browser. Wunder Caps, Wunder Caps. I think that's where the real conversation is.
Hillisang!
Got him like enough prediction cues.
Flash forward, the Binding does manage to connect with the barriers there. Smoothie now running for his life, the shield rather, and now first blood. Flash down, the stolen summoner. Where's the spell shield gonna go? What's he gonna be able to block? Nothing is the answer. So much damage. Now spell shield is immediately forced out. The ulti's there, but the stun is going to connect. I would have thought the Bard would not win this, but is so incredibly confident. Sleepy though, Perkz needs to be careful, needs to make it out. The challenge might have been laid down and not portal through.
Oh yeah, this is okay. Flash. Yeah, very nice. Nice. Very good, guys. Bring this in.
Wunder now running Perkz. Oh, huge damage! Coming in, and just like that, G2 turned the play on its head.